events and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Live and direct, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Leadership Live right here on the Los Angeles Tribune Television Network. And I'm very excited because today we have a very powerful group of leaders that have been assembled here to discuss for the next hour leadership principles, not just for your life, but also for your business. I'm here alongside Ava, David, and Roosevelt, friends of the Tribune. Ava, senior editor of our Thought Leadership newspaper, Roosevelt Williams of YB&B, an organization that we are proud partners of, and David of Top Talent, another organization we're proud partners of. So let's get it started by just Roosevelt. I want you to discuss a little bit about how excited you are to spend the next hour with some of the leaders that we have here today. Roosevelt, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you again, Mo, for the opportunity. You have a phenomenal team. Ava, it's always great to work with you, and David, we wouldn't be here without you. So I would just say, teamwork really is phenomenal. Here, we start with a commitment. We always deliver with quality, and our goal is to always finish with success. So by us coming together, I say like Megatron, that transformer. This really is galvanizing some of the best and the brightest, in our region, and to be able to be an advocate for small businesses and helping them thrive, that's the lifeline of America. So it's an honor, it's a privilege, especially post Memorial Day. So I want to thank you to all the viewers that may have, are committed to service and discipline. And as business, that's what you have to be. You have to be disciplined, and you have to be service led, and you have to be solution based. So I'm thrilled to be here. I can run through a brick wall. And again, thank you for the opportunity, Mo.
Well, Roosevelt, before we continue, I want to give you the floor again to discuss for about a minute or so the partnership between YB&B and the Los Angeles Tribune, and the initiative that actually made national news, the Diversity in Media Initiative, the first of its kind in Southern California. Please, Roosevelt, discuss that and what it means for your community and the future of diversity in media, please.
I'm a firm believer in opportunity, and with opportunity comes a limited amount of success. So with the Los Angeles Tribune and our organization, Young Black and in Business, coming together, that's a match made in heaven. We're giving opportunity to individuals that may not have had a voice, that may have not been heard, that may not have had the outlets to be able to express themselves. Here at Young Black in the Business, we believe everyone deserves recognition. So the Los Angeles Tribune has been giving our network, especially our businesses that represent and that provide for the low moderate income community, the opportunity to be able to share their voice. So now they're not voiceless. This opportunity has been able to expand and explode a lot of individuals in their branding, in their self-branding. And that's another reason why I'm here, because everybody deserves recognition. So the partnership that we have with the Los Angeles Tribune is giving a microphone to these small businesses to be able to advocate for themselves, to be able to provide for their family, to be able to showcase their businesses, and to also be able to solve problems in the 21st century. So it's a match made in heaven. You ask me personally, it's the biggest thing since peanut butter and jelly. That's my cliche for today. But realistically, the Los Angeles Tribune really has been vital to these small businesses, and the partnership is amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roosevelt. And before we bring in some of the guests that will be joining us for today's Leadership Circle, I want to give the floor to David Fagan of Top Talent Agency to discuss a program that he has now been doing for a couple years for the general public, and that's the PubPubCon, the Publishing and Publicity Conference. Of course, last year it was a major success in Las Vegas. People flew in from multiple different countries to attend PubPubCon. This year, with the use of technology, it's going to reach even more people around the world with the virtual broadcast. David, what does PubPubCon's mission mean for the people watching at home, and why should they participate in the upcoming PubPubCon, which I believe is just about a week away? And how excited are you for the future of PubPubCon? This has become really a staple of top talent agency in the entrepreneurship community. Please, David Fagan.
You see that, Roosevelt? I got a 4-part question there. That you really know you've arrived as a guest when the host feels like he can give you a 4 or 5 point question there. I'm gonna nail this here, Mo. Yes, the Publicity and Publishing Conference is something we've done for a while. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Yes, it is actually 6 days away. It starts Monday, June 5th. It'll go Monday, June 5th, Tuesday, June 6th, and Wednesday, June 7th. And look, so many people nowadays really understand the value of being heard and being seen and getting results. And Mo said something I'm kind of proud to hear him say. It's something I say a lot. And I was joking around with Mo. I was like, Mo, you got to give me credit for things 3 times. And then after that, it's yours. That's kind of the rule in the speaker's game here. And that's what I did for somebody else. And there's a saying that I really like. And this is the saying: make your presence felt, right? I talk about going from not just 0 to hero, but how do you go from invisible to invincible? That was the theme of our keynote tour in Kenya, how to go from invisible to invincible. That's also the theme of this year's Publicity and Publishing Conference. How do you go from invisible, man, nobody sees me, am I getting anything done? Am I moving the needle here, to, invincible, like boom, I'm taking up space. And I heard somebody say that the other day, and I guess I should be giving them credit for that, right, Mo? But I heard someone else say that the other day, like, how do you take up space? And I thought, what a cool saying. Like, how do you take up space when you're someplace? Well, taking up space is one of the very first steps in not being invisible, right? Taking up space, making your presence felt. So writing books, getting published, getting featured, being interviewed, spotlighting people. Everything we're doing today on this call, right, is making people and their presence felt. I'm slowing down so you can kind of write that down. Make my presence felt. I need to go from invisible to invincible. Write down invincible. Underline that a couple times. Roosevelt's getting fired up. I can tell here. He likes this. But when you meet Roosevelt, like, he makes his presence felt, right? We all kind of know Roosevelt. We got a few people waiting backstage thanks to Roosevelt. So we'll use him as an example. This is not a guy that gets forgotten easily. Why? He takes up space, right? He says cool things. He says important things. He says memorable things. But even more importantly, he really celebrates others. The best way to introduce somebody is to celebrate them. And Roosevelt's great at that. And so we're looking forward to him introducing some of his friends here in a little bit. But thanks, Mo. I think I covered that 4 and 5 part question there.
Absolutely. And, something that I learned from David Fagan is it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And so having that presence, having those connections, having a strong network. And so the Pub conference coming up, I think, is something that, of course, we're going to discuss a little bit more here in the next few minutes. And Roosevelt, I'm now going to bring in a few folks that you invited. I believe everyone that you invited is a member of the YB&B community, or at the very least within your network. And I'm going to give you a chance here to do a very brief introduction of each of the guests here. And also, Roosevelt, go ahead and play the role of the moderator for the next few minutes, because we want to know from all of these leaders that you invited, what does leadership, true leadership, authentic leadership with integrity mean to them? Please, Roosevelt, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mo and David. Absolutely, man. I really am a grasshopper amongst these giants here on the call. So let's start with ladies first, with Letitia Nicole, 805 South. She's a very diverse and well-rounded when it comes to branding, phenomenal branding guru. So she'll be speaking more about how she really is providing that heartbeat here in San Diego by bringing everyone together, and by that service leadership, and by being solution-based. Then I want to go down to Jonas Royster, which is a he has a book as well, and he's been able to use his transferable skills in the 21st century and to be able to help others rise up. As we know, the cliche, give them a hand up instead of a handout, and he's leading the pack when it comes to boots on the ground and boots in the boardroom. So just have a salute on that. DJ Caitlin, one thing that I'm inspired by DJ, we're already talking about how to do business in space. How we're doing business in space, because here at Young Black in the Business, we have a 100-year plan. So we're already, futuristic in thinking, and he sets the bar on that. So big salute to DJ. DJ Doc is phenomenal. He's able to kick the tires and pop the hood when it comes to our business, when it comes to, just the exposure and being a communication outlet, making sure on our podcast, everything is crystal clear. And that's really big, because we lead by learning, and we learn by listening, and we listen to understand instead of speaking to be understood. So thank you, DJ Doc, for that leadership. And when it comes to business, we have the business tizer, a business coach that keeps our business viable, keeps us green, and keeps us prosperous. And that's Mr. Gennaro Crenshaw. Great posture and poise. In business, very distinguished. He's the business tizer. So this is the group we have today, a phenomenal group of superheroes. But most importantly, everyone here on this call is solution-based. We like to say at Young Black in the Business, bring us your problems. Don't bring us your complaints. And everyone here on this call is here to provide a solution.
Absolutely. And Roosevelt, I'm also going to bring in April Diamond and Parisa, who are transformational leaders. And I want to kick it off with Mr. Crenshaw, because I heard him speak in San Diego, and I loved listening to him speak. I mean, I really appreciated Mr. Crenshaw's speech. I was in the back. I was paying attention. He was a captivating speaker. So we want to give him the floor first to bring the energy as we kick off this roundtable conversation. So, Mr. Crenshaw, what does true, authentic leadership mean to you? Please, floor is yours.
So I want to first start off by just letting you know how honored I am to even be on this panel, on this presentation. So I want to start there first. But leadership means, to me, stepping forward to make the place that you're in and the space that you're going better, not only for you, but better for the people that are following you. So that's actually what leadership means to me. And I think there are a couple of core principles to actual effective leadership. And if we go into that later, I can tell you about those as well. But I think just being somebody who wants to take himself and others, or themselves and others, forward to a better place is what leadership means to me.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I only met you a little bit from Roosevelt, but I've been really impressed. Roosevelt, I've got several questions for some of the leaders here. Are you going to let me ask one, or you want to go next?
Please, please.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask a few questions, and we may not get everybody the chance to ask the same questions. And so later on, you're going to be like, man, can I answer that question that was asked before? And, you can always pop up and ask. But this is the one thing that I kind of wanted to start off with is, and let me set this up here just a little bit. I'll do it in 30 seconds or less. But how much credit or blame do you think a leader should take? And right now, one of the things we're seeing play out in many sports industries is coaches getting fired, coaches that, have done really, really well, but even business leaders that have had very successful, profitable years, all of a sudden, one or two mishaps, one or two losses, and all of a sudden it seems like they're thrown on the chopping block kind of quickly. So it seems like kind of a hot topic. Should they be the end all be all? Should the buck stop with them? How much responsibility should they take? How much do we take? What's fair? What's not fair? Give us a little insight, Gennaro. We'll keep it going with you and then switch it over to somebody else. But how much credit or blame should a leader take?
I want to do those in two different parts, because I think they're two different questions. So I want to start with blame first. So as a leader, I believe the leader should take all the blame if the leader is designated themselves as a leader. Because if you want a culture where other people accept blame, you have to accept blame yourself. So that's number one. I think as a leader, I would accept all the blame for everything that happens under my watch. As far as credit, I think that's a different animal, because I think credit is never the power for one person to receive, no matter what the organization is. However, I do believe if the team is not performing, then the person in charge of the team should be fired. I don't know if you can see what this says, but it says high performance habits and how extraordinary people become that way. And one of the things that happens is, because I was going to talk about this before, but I'll talk about it now. It fits. The leader is responsible for creating the clarity around the organization. So that's number one. So if the team or the organization is operating with a lack of clarity, that's the leader's fault. But the other piece that the leader is responsible for is the energy within the group. And the energy is also responsibility that the leader can generate through his habits and through the habits that they share. So oftentimes you will find organizations where someone is at one organization, they underperform, and then they go somewhere else, and that same person performs well. I believe it's because of the leadership, because if the leadership is either giving them more clarity that allows them to perform better, or the leadership is creating an environment where they have the energy that allows them to perform better. So those two criteria, if those don't happen, I believe it's the fault of the leader, and they should take responsibility.
We got a bunch of people here, so let me get a few other people involved here. What about you, AKA DJ Doc? What about you, Mr. Thomas Howard? You got a real look of wisdom there. Drop some wisdom bombs on us here. Oh, you're still on mute. We'll get you off mute here. And but yeah, the question I still want to get more direct answers to is, how much credit or blame should the leader take? And we're going to split this up a little bit more in a second, but what do you think? Oh, we still got you on mute here. Let me see here. Let me see if we can.
All right, there it is. Okay. So, when you talk about the sports and so forth, a lot of times sports, business, yes, a lot of times they will say sport is business, but when you're looking at a business and so forth, you have to lead by example. And I think that a lot of times as leaders, we need to make sure that the people that we're leading understand that they can come to us if there's not clarity. They can come to us and talk freely about questions and things of that nature, so we can make it clear. But when you look at the fact of someone being praised for the work that's being done, as a leader, what I look at is, it's not me, it's the guys that did this. Now, when it comes to the fact of the blame, if they are not able to do what they need to because of my poor response to something, then the blame is definitely on me. I make sure that everyone I'm working with and so forth, they see me do what should be done. So I'm leading by example. And then on the other side, if I do something that's wrong, I will apologize and let them know I'm human. Let's make this right. You know, a lot of people talk about mistakes and blame and everything else. I see that as an opportunity for an improvement. So that's the way that I look at it. Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. Roosevelt, I want you to pick the next person, and we probably need to get some feminine energy in here. That's what I'm feeling, but I'm gonna let you pick the next person, but I'm gonna tell you what the question is first. So here's the question. What's the difference between being a leader in an organization versus being a leader in an industry? What do you feel like how you would operate different, or what do you think is differently required of you versus being a leader in an industry versus being a leader in an organization? Who do you think we should throw that question to, Roosevelt?
We're going to go with, money and space, my man, DJ. And then I would like to follow up with Letitia to come with the home run hit.
Okay. What do you think, DJ? What's the difference between being a leader in an industry and a leader in a company and an organization?
So a leader in the industry versus a company or organization. So before I answer this, I wanted to touch on the last one, just to give a shout out to a great book.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. You're going to love that lesson so much. All right.
Extreme Ownership by Jocka. If you haven't heard of that book, it's written by a Navy SEAL, and he talks about his experience in the Middle East and how as a leader he's taken extreme ownership of every situation, and those things have led to the lives of many being saved. So I think if you haven't already read that book, Extreme Ownership by Jocka is an amazing book about extreme accountability and leadership.
Yeah, I just put it
But
in the comments. I put it in the comments so other people
okay,
can see that too. But keep
perfect.
going. Good job.
So leadership in an organization versus an industry. I think that, well, of course, on the industry scale, especially if you're in a C-suite, I mean, you're really overseeing the success and health and growth of the organization as a whole. So you're really looking at, really relying on your different functions, your functional areas to carry out leadership within their smaller organization. So you're really more concerned about the overall health of the organization and how the direction that is overall going in, and you're really setting the standard and bar for the organization or for the industry. I'm sorry, or your company. Leadership within the organization, you're more so leading really people. When I say people, you're leading smaller teams. So with that, you have to be more. You have to be, I would say, definitely a servant leader, understanding what their needs are, as opposed to in an organization or I'm sorry, in an industry, they really care about what the customer needs are. So in an organization, the needs of the team is paramount. What do I need to allow my team to be successful? Do they have the training that they need? Do they understand the vision? Do they have confidence in our ability to be successful in our mission? So you really have to have a kind of a different set of skill set when leading organizations and people. You have to be really in touch with the team and understanding that that you're giving them everything that they need to be successful, and as opposed to leading an industry where you're really trying to understand how you can deliver a service that helps out a population to be successful. So to me, those are my differences when I think of the two.
So let's do something fun here, and we'll get everybody the chance to say this. And we want to do intros and all these other things, but we want to just be fast for a second. Okay. Tribune always wants to be fast, and they always like to use sound bites that they'll throw out later on here too. So here's something I want to do with everybody here, and this is tough. You can opt out of this. You may not even want in this. This is going to be tough. 2 words that you think somebody else would use to describe you as a leader. What do you think are just 2 words that somebody might use? Now, I don't want to load you up here, but earlier on, I said something. This person could be considered a servant leader. Okay, that's 2 words. Maybe it's really only 1 because it's servant, but that's one idea. And I don't want to give you a lot of examples here, but
I'll step up and I'll go first.
Yeah, go Roosevelt. Then we're going to go back to DJ, and then we're going to get around to these ladies too. Go ahead.
No, that's leadership.
What?
100-year plan.
What? Just 2 words.
100-year plan.
Okay, so he's out. He lost. He couldn't do it in 2 words. He couldn't do it in 2 words. All right, DJ, you're up. What do you got? 2 words. I'm just.
I think a stoic servant. Stoic servant.
Stoic. Okay, Gennaro. 2 words.
Visionary energizer.
Okay. All right. Letitia, 2 words. What do you think? If someone was to describe you as a leader, 2 words that they would use. Only 2.
Inspire someone.
Inspire someone. Okay. Parisa, what do you think? 2 words. If someone else, not you, but somebody else might describe you as a leader, how would they describe you? 2 words.
Compassionate, bold.
Compassionate, bold. I like that. All right, April, what do you got?
A friend and powerful.
Powerful friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Your style of leadership, powerful friend. Okay, that's interesting. That gives me lots of follow-up questions. Jonas, what do you got? 2 words.
Honorable leader.
Honorable leader. Okay. Honor. I like that. All right. Thomas, what do you got?
Caring businessman.
Caring businessman. All right. 2 words describe the leaders. Okay. You guys got our wheels turning here. You got our wheels turning. All right. Parisa, over to you. Thoughts on leadership and questions we were already talking about. Which one do you want to address first? What's standing out to you? What have you heard that you want to add to the conversation on? I'm gonna let you pick.
Oh wow. Goodness. Okay, so I guess I would go with authentic leadership.
Okay.
Okay. So for me personally, and what I look for in a leader, as well as myself, 3 examples that I go by. Vision, having a purpose, as a leader. I think a true leader inspires their team. Having a clear purpose, having a clear vision, it gives a sense of direction. Being able to communicate to your audience and aligning with everyone, working towards a common goal is so important. Without that, you have no foundation. So the vision and purpose is your foundation. That's one. Okay. Two is integrity and transparency. Be authentic. People are going to see through the stuff anyway, right? So why not start off, again, it's about foundation. Start off that way. You build your trust. You build a team who feels seen, a team who sees your authenticity. It's a team that sees, and your audience and your clients, everyone, a team, people who see that will trust you and want to work with you in the long run. We want long results, not short term. Three, empowerment and growth.
Wait, how many numbers are there? How many numbers you got?
Well, this is the last one. Empowerment and growth. Growth mindset. Creating that environment, supporting development and encouragement. That's what I got.
Okay. All right. Can I challenge you? Can I put you on the spot?
Possibly.
Possibly? It might not be possible. You don't look like somebody easily challenged here. So what if I said to you, somebody could be authentic, like it'd just be 100% authentic, or they could be results oriented? Or do you think authenticity is the key to getting the most results?
If you're authentic with who you are, your integrity, how you're leading, what your foundation is, intention, then the results that will come will align with what you are, what you want. So it's all about alignment.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. It's almost like clarity, from confusion to clarity. A good leader will take you from confusion to clarity. A lot of organizations have a lot of confused people about what the goal is right now, what the power play is right now, what the priority is right now. And the leader that can create clarity might just have the upper hand. Does that feel right to you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's switch over. Oh, I was going to switch over to April. Mo just jumped in. If Mo jumps in, everything stops. We all just stop. Mo's here. What do we do, Mo?
Well, I've really been enjoying this dialogue so far, and I want to thank everyone. We're going to take a very quick break, and we're going to come back with the second half of the program, and we're going to chime in and have everyone give some thoughts as we wrap up. Because believe it or not, friends, we're already almost halfway done with this program. I mean, time flies when you're having fun. So we're going to take a quick break, and I want to thank David Fagan for doing such a great job of making sure that we get all of the information needed from these great leaders so the folks at home have a lot of value. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today. Thank you on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune team.
Okay, and welcome back, folks. And, as I've been sitting back listening to this dialogue the last half an hour, I can't be helped but reminded of the last edition of the Los Angeles Tribune Special Thought Leadership Edition, which features some of the top thought leaders in the world. And when someone reads our special edition, they hear so many different perspectives on leadership. But there's this, what I call a holy thread that sort of goes through every powerful leader that I have studied or that we feature in our programming, and that's integrity. I think to be a true leader, you need to have integrity as one, if not the main value of your life. Leaders that last are leaders of integrity. Producer, please don't change it anymore, please. Thank you, producer. Let's just keep it flat distracts me. Thank you so much. And so with that being said, I want to give everybody here a chance to speak. We only have 30 minutes left in this program. So I'm going to start with April Diamond. April Diamond is a Billboard chart-topping artist. She's been, to be on the Billboard charts as an artist is something that very few have achieved. And so you've definitely lived your dreams, April. You've made things happen. What does being an integrity-driven leader mean to you? And then we're going to close out the program and have everyone share their closing thoughts by answering that question. April Diamond, please.
Thank you for that, Mo. I think that people look up to leaders and they want to see solutions, but they also want to see a friend. They want to see somebody that's in their corner, somebody that believes in them and that believes the best for them. And I think, like, I look at what I do as far as being a singer and also a host on social media is somebody that's for my followers. Like, they're not just my followers, but I call them my follower family, right? So somebody that's in their corner, somebody that people can look up to and aspire to say, oh, wow, maybe I can do those things. Maybe I can be a powerful person. Maybe I can be inspirational. But I think it takes the leader and what you were talking about earlier in terms of the blame when it comes to what leaders are supposed to accept and how they're supposed to manage that dynamic. And that is, a good leader will take, I think, the blame and say, look, let's fix this and let's take something that maybe was a negative or some problem, let's turn it into a solution and let's give a solution to future problems so that there won't be any, right? And in terms of inspiring people and being a strong leader in that way, like I aspire to do that all the time. And I love to, like, this forum is amazing. And I love to speak and reach out to the people that follow me and have conversations and let them know that their questions and how they feel and what they think about the world, all of that is really important. So I feel like that a good leader is inspirational and lets people know that their voice is important.
Lets people know that their voice is important. I think that was a key point there. Every strong, powerful leader that I've met that is truly making an impact in the world, when they speak to you, they make you feel as though you're the only person in the world. Yes. And yet there are some that, clearly they don't care about what you have to say. They just kind of brush you off. And yet I find that these people don't truly have a lot of influence in a positive direction on this planet. So thank you, April, for highlighting that. Mr. Jonas, what does being an integrity-driven leader mean to you? And I'm going to ask the senior editor of the Los Angeles Tribune to also join and share her thoughts on this as well in the next few minutes. Jonas, please.
Mo, appreciate it. Integrity, right? Integrity to me is high. It's a very high on my scale, especially coming from an environment and how I learned about integrity, right? When you're, let's say this, almost similar to not Jocko, right? But when your life is on the line and integrity, right? Valuing your word is all that you have in a high risk situation. It means a lot, right? And so high integrity means effective leadership starts with leading self first, right? And it's about how much value do you have with your word, right? Are you, and when we are leading a team, right? Integrity is very key because guess what? It's the secret invisible thing that everyone looks at. If you say be at a meeting at 2:20, right? And you log on at 2:29, right? Now I can see where your value of your word and integrity is, right? And so there's things of that nature that's just the invisible, that's the invisible cloak, right? However, I just really firmly believe that integrity is where it all starts. That's the foundation to the home, right? It goes integrity. And for me, it's integrity, commitment, loyalty, and discipline, right? And with those four, I can begin to build some shelter around how I want to lead and lead effectively.
Thank you for that, Jonas. And Thomas, I know that you've spent a lot of time in your career having conversations with leaders. And some leaders seem to rise and fall, and some leaders seem to rise and sustain their influence. What is the main distinction, Thomas, that you see between those that are able to have longevity with their positive influence in society versus those that don't? Thomas Howard, please. Let's make sure you're unmuted. Go ahead,
right.
Thomas Howard.
There we go. So, the biggest thing, just like Jonas said, and the main word that he used was integrity. Those leaders that are able to maintain and sustain, people have trust in them. Integrity is a big builder of trust. When you say you're going to do something and you do it, it's good for your clients as well as for employees, because they will give you that loyalty like you spoke about, Jonas, because of the fact you said you were going to do something and you've done it. To have individuals behind you that trust in you, as well as clients. I have so many return clients because of the simple fact I told them I was going to do something and I've done it. I've got new clients because of people that said they were going to do something and they didn't. Okay. And if there's something that comes up where you're not able to, letting them know you're not able to accomplish something is still that part of integrity, because it shows the trust and you were openly telling them, you know what, something's come up. Here's where we're at. So that's the big difference I've seen, is a lot of people, they don't keep their word. They don't do what they say. And what better way to lose people and to lose your business than loss of integrity?
You know, Thomas, I love the fact that you brought that point up, because I think, you know, as you were saying that, I'm recognizing that, look, no one is perfect. No organization is going to be perfect. No human being is perfect. But the key is to communicate. When things don't necessarily go the way that you intend for it to go, you communicate about it. But what I've noticed is some people are in the habit of insulting other people's intelligence. When you don't bring something up, when you don't talk about the elephant in the room, you're insulting someone else's intelligence. And, you know, this is why sometimes the folks that think they're the smartest person in the room, they don't really advance too far in life, because they're living their lives subtly insulting people's intelligence. And so when you enter a room with the mindset of, I'm here to learn, I'm not the smartest person in the room, I'm here to serve, I'm here to grow, ironically, you become much more powerful than the person that enters the room thinking, you know what, I'm about to take this thing over. And so there are these universal laws that are very counterintuitive, but nonetheless, they work and they make sense. So thank you for that, Thomas, because I think that highlighted a very important point. I want to go to 805 South LLC CEO Letitia Nicole to chime in on this conversation, please.
Yes, integrity. I believe that it's a responsibility of us to be able to keep our word and to not just talk about what we need to get done and what our mission is, but to actually physically participate, you know, leading by example, having principles and morals that we stand by and follow by. And if by any reason, like just chiming in what DJ Doc was saying, if things come up and you are not able to complete the mission, or something happens, that you're able to communicate that with the team so they understand that, hey, from here, where do we go? What do we do? And so for me, integrity is very powerful. It's very important. And without it, no business or person in any type of leadership can survive without it, because you have to gain the trust of the people that you're working with and that you're working for, as well as the new relationships that you will come in tune with, the people that you will meet, your future, whether it's customers, business relationships. You will have to be able to stand. And so you need integrity. You need to be about your word, a person that is trustworthy. And if they're not trustworthy, then there comes an issue with anything being able to be completed. And so integrity is very important.
And so I appreciate that, Letitia. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I want to go now to Mr. Crenshaw. How do you, Mr. Crenshaw, you know, I had a chance of listening to you speak again in San Diego, and you're a very astute leader, I can tell. How do you recognize a person of integrity? How do you recognize the real from the fake? What are some tools and techniques and strategies that you use? Because this is an asset that every entrepreneur that navigates through business must have. They must have a integrity radar, right? If you don't have an integrity radar as you navigate through the oceans, the sharks are going to get you. And so, Mr. Crenshaw, how do you navigate through business and recognize someone that values integrity versus someone that doesn't? Please, floor is yours. I'm going to make sure you're unmuted. Folks, take some notes. This is going to be good, please.
Hey, you put me on the spot, but you know I like being on the spot because I like to step up to leadership. So I'm glad you gave me that. And because I'm going to actually give you an actual example that you will be able to appreciate, I guarantee it. So first of all, I have a tool that I use in order to see leadership in action and recognize if I'm going to if the person has leadership abilities. So the acronym for the tool is I look for the bear in them. So first of all, the first letter in bear is a B. So I look to see if the person is believable. And that goes with integrity, because a lot of times people say one thing, they do something else, they're not believable. So first thing I look for, believable. But believability is not enough, because believability they need to create a believability, but they need to get me emotionally attached to them. Because if you listen to, I know you study leaders, one of the things that they all have in common, people got emotionally attached to the whole situation which they were generating. So first I would go for the believability, and then I want to see if they generate emotional attachment that delivers the energy. Because when they deliver the emotional attachment that delivers the energy, you get the last part, you get the A, which is one of the most important pieces. That's action, because only action produces results. And a leadership's role is to generate results. But one of the things, so you got the B, believability, you got the E, the emotion and the energy that gives you enough to do the action. But the last thing, do they get results? Because that's the driving force. Because if you look at that, there becomes a will, and it goes to your question about sustainability. Without all that, you can't sustain. And I want to give you the classic example of someone that I know that you guys also know that I saw it. I saw it in Mr. Roosevelt Williams III when he was like 15 years old. And he had a way of moving through the city. And I was seeing him on the side. But I believe that this guy was on the mission that he was going for. He generated emotion in me. I saw him taking the right actions, and he's been making results after results after results, and that's where he is today. But I use that tool, and it's easy for me to see leadership in action everywhere I go.
See, I intuitively knew that you were going to say something worthy of taking notes. You like how I just knew that? The bear principle. I love that. That's brilliant. DJ.
Yeah, it's a cycle, though, Mo. It's a cycle, because if you don't get stuck on it's a principle, it's a cycle.
Right. In other words, it's something that must constantly be in motion.
Right.
DJ, let's give you the floor. Closing thoughts as we wrap up today's program, and this incredible conversation on integrity-driven leadership, and then we're going to bring back Mr. David Fagan as well. Here we, DJ, please.
Sure. So I think I've heard a lot about, and everyone, I love what I've heard from everyone about, how integrity impacts the organization and people that they're leading. But I think when I think of integrity, I think of, doing the right thing when no one's looking, when no one's really, holding you accountable. And what's, how is that really, or being a leader, how does that impact our organization or the people that I'm leading? If I am, me as a leader with integrity, I want to make sure that I am living by my values, that I'm not doing anything that's going to negatively impact my organization, because there are people that I'm responsible for. So I'll just keep it simple. To me, I think that it's doing the right thing when no one's looking, because my actions, even when no one's watching or no one's holding me accountable, has a large impact on my organization.
I appreciate that, DJ. And again, before we wrap up this program, I want to go back to something we opened up with, and that was the partnership that the Los Angeles Tribune has with YB&B. Now, Roosevelt, I want you to discuss a little bit about what YB&B is for those that may not know in our audience. And again, this diversity in media initiative is the first of its kind in the state of California, with organizations such as our respective organizations. So please, Roosevelt, discuss YB&B for a minute or so, because we want to make sure that the audience around the world, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on replay, or whether you're watching this on demand on our Roku television network, we want you to be aware of YB&B. Please, Roosevelt Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mo. This conversation is the epitome of young, Black, and in business, because young is a state of mind, and we have members of all ages and of all colors. The color Black actually encompasses all of the colors in the spectrum. So we're a diverse network, an eclectic meritocracy that believes in business. And how do we define business? Business is identifying a problem, providing a solution, and making a profit. So I like to say that we're all young, Black, and in business. Today, we are sharing educational, instructional, entrepreneurial content that is bringing early emerging entrepreneurs out of the darkness and into the light. So we like to spread business acumen. When you think about young black in the business, think about 2 R's. We can refer you to access capital, and we can also recognize you. That's why the partnership that we have with the Los Angeles Tribune is vital to the success of early emerging entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Roosevelt. And for those folks that are subscribers of the Los Angeles Tribune print newspaper, as well as the 1.4 million active users on issue that have access to it, the next special edition is going to have a very special expose about YBNB and our partnership. And so we appreciate the official partnership with Young, Black, and in Business. And this is the start of something very powerful for the community of Southern California. And Roosevelt, you and I were being interviewed on the red carpet a few weeks ago, where we were discussing how the GDP of Southern California is higher than most nations in the world. And so there's no reason why there's still poverty. There's no reason why there's still hunger. There's no reason why there's still homelessness from people that are trying to actually make a positive impact in their life. And so we have a fiduciary responsibility to come together and make sure that we eradicate these things that have no place in our society. The resources are there. It's just a question of the leadership standing up. And so the folks here on this call, every face that you see here, the folks that are in our newspaper, the folks that are in our programming, the folks that are in Mr. Roosevelt's network, everyone must come together to make a true positive impact. And so, Ms. Parisa, we want to give you the floor to share some thoughts on this discussion that we've had so far, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the main theme and mantra of mine personally is how you do anything is how you will do everything. So choose wisely, lead with integrity, be accountable, build the trust, lead with, with ethics, and you'll go far. And compassion.
I love that, Parisa. I'm going to ask the senior editor of the Thought Leadership Edition, Ava, to come share her thoughts, and then David Fagan will close us out. Ava, please.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I have just been enjoying listening to all of the wisdom and taking notes from everyone that's just shared so powerfully. I am so excited with the upcoming Thought Leader Edition because it's highlighting women in leadership. And it is so exciting because it's such an honor for us to be able to honor the women in history who have changed the world and the contributions of women in our society. And we get to highlight that in the upcoming Thought Leader Edition. But talking about integrity, I am just honored also to be in an organization that really moves with integrity, who has integrity as the rudder in our ship that drives us to do everything forward. And I'm going to take the opportunity to actually brag about the upcoming book of Mo Rock, the Moral Compass, 28 Principles for Integrity-Driven Leadership. And it's coming up soon. And I'm just excited because, being the senior editor of the Los Angeles Tribune, it's our heartbeat. It's our core, and I see it every day that Mo Rock, walks his talk in terms of integrity. And for me, integrity is like the rudder in our ship. Being a former Coast Guard, it's the rudder in our ship. It allows us to be able to, move forward and navigate the waves and the winds because our integrity, holds us, straight to a certain destination. And with that, I'm complete.
Well, again, I want to take this time and thank all the Young Black and Business members that attended this call. This is amazing content. Mr. Fagan?
Yeah, thank you. This is great. Mo knows me. I'm always trying to mix things up, stir things up a little bit, push back, challenge people. And it's not that I ever disagree. It's my fun way of kind of throwing you guys a fast pitch that you can still hit out of the park. And there's so many things here that are worth talking, but I'll kind of use my last thought to kind of bring together some of the things we were doing today. And that is the concept of good, better, and best. Great leaders understand the difference between good, better, and best. And there are a lot of people out there that have good ideas, maybe even great ideas. But in any situation with so many variables and so many moving parts, it's really the wisdom over knowledge. Knowledge is just not valuable anymore. You want knowledge, Google. You want knowledge, go to YouTube. Now we have AI. Knowledge, the value of knowledge just keeps going down and down and down. The real value is in wisdom, and wisdom is all about knowing what truth has the greatest value in any given situation, right? What truth has the greatest value? So the best leaders are the ones that go, you know, maybe now I need to be really authentic, you know, really now, you know, it's a time that my integrity is just going to win out, even if it's just a moral victory. Or, you know, maybe now is the time that, you know, bottom line, we got to get the result here, right? And it's not that anything is necessarily more right or more wrong, but when it comes to situational strategies, I think all of us leaders are really in search of that wisdom. And if you look at maybe some of the best leaders that are maybe the most famous or the most celebrated over time, anywhere from Buddha to Jesus Christ to Abraham Lincoln to, you know, whatever you want to be, Mother Teresa. I mean, there's so many different kinds of leaders out there that just have these amazing legacies. They seem to make a high percentage of great decisions. And the late Steve Jobs, man, he had multiple businesses and multiple decades and multiple economies and multiple industries. And it just seemed like he picked and chose the most best decisions over time. Oprah Winfrey, same thing. She picks the most best decisions over time. Doesn't mean she's perfect. Doesn't mean Steve Jobs is perfect. But what is the record? What is your percentage of making, you know, the best decisions? And I think that becomes your brand. I think that becomes your reputation. And I think that becomes what people want to follow. They're not just following you. They're really following the record of your successful decisions. And so I think a lot of people follow all of you guys on here because you have good records of making lots of really great decisions. Doesn't mean you never failed. It doesn't mean you never fell short, but maybe even how you fell short and maybe even how you failed and maybe even how you kept going is the reason why so many people follow you guys. And that's why I follow Mo, and that's why I follow Roosevelt. And thank you all for letting me share and be a part of the call here today. And I wish we could just spend a couple hours and be like, what's your favorite leadership attribute? What's your favorite? Well, if you could only have one, which would it be? And, you know, we could sit here and kind of Frankenstein together the best leader. And that would be a fun thing to do. Thanks, Mo.
Well, thank you for that, David. And thank you, Ava, for surprising me with that plug. That was unexpected. I want to take just a few more seconds to thank all of the thought leaders here that generously contributed their time, their likeness, their wisdom to this community. And I also want to point out to folks that if you want to dive more into being able to have an opportunity to listen to Roosevelt Williams III, David Fagan, and some incredible thought leaders, you can register for the upcoming event, PubPubCon, at pubpubcon.com. And nice. We're going to have that available down there at the ticker, so folks know pubpubcon.com, how to spell that and how to check that out. And I believe registration for this event is free, is done pro bono as a community service by Top Talent Agency. David, do you have any final words just on PubPubCon as we wrap up the program?
Sure.
I believe that's the domain name, pubpubcon.com, correct?
Yep, that is correct. Yeah, we put that in the comments too. Yeah, you know, there is a free ticket. Everyone can come and attend it for free. There is one step up from that. There's an option where people can, you know, get all the recordings and visual aids and things like that. There's also one more step up, one big ticket, and that just allows you to pitch the judges. One of the things that we're probably the most famous about is we do a massive contest, a publishing and publicity contest, and we give away a $50,000 publicity and publishing book deal. Second place is a $30,000 publishing and publicity book deal. We also have a prize where the best pitch, the best speaker this year wins our 9-day Kenya keynote tour. So in the last 7 months, we've been to Kenya twice. We do a big keynote speaking tour there. We speak to universities with thousands in attendance. We have lots of pictures and videos. We go back in September 11th through the 19th. And, it's a $15,000, $20,000 trip. And that's third place, right? So there is a ticket that you pay for to pitch the judges. And there's some opportunities to win some pretty big contests. In recent years, we've had like actors like Dylan McDermott be a part of the prize and the winnings. And, we've done book launches and galas. And there's that case study, several of these case studies of people who've won in the years past at pubpubcon.com. So if you want to see what that looks like. So yes, you can come for free. Yes, you can get the recordings for some money. It's like $97. Or you could even enter a contest to pitch judges. There's 9 different judges and win a really, really big publicity and publishing prize. And all the details are on that website.
Awesome. I'm personally going to be attending PubPubCon. I believe that, to your point, David, since knowledge is now so accessible, we must take time to strategize. Everyone here, for example, is a personal brand. There are a lot of folks, David, that don't realize that they're personal brands. If you're a dentist, you're a personal brand. If you're a handyman, you're a personal brand. If you mow lawns, you're a personal brand. If you're a surgeon, you're a personal brand. So individuals that are in industries that traditionally don't really see themselves as someone that must focus on branding, we live in a day and age in this new world order with hyper-competitive environments where you must be able to give yourself an edge. And so publicity and publishing are aspects of your personal brand, aspects of your company brand, of your organization. And so I'm going to be attending. I'm going to be taking notes. I'm very excited for it. I encourage all the folks watching at home to attend. I even encourage all of the folks here on this panel sharing the stage with me to register and attend. And we can all spend some time together as well. And so thank you for that, David Fagan. Thank you to everyone here. We're going to wrap up the program now. I want to thank YBNB. The Los Angeles Tribune is a proud partner of Young Black and in Business, and we're going to be doing some very exciting things in the future to make a positive difference for Southern California, for this nation, and for the world. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time, and God bless.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Los Angeles Tribune page. Here you will find original news programming, exclusive digital events, and shows that are directly from the community. At the Los Angeles Tribune, we believe in giving a voice to the voiceless. We are proud to be the only national brand to empower everyday people to make a difference. Since 1886, our reputation has been built on truth and responsibility. Thank you for watching and making a difference.
For general inquiries, contact today.